Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare quarter-dollar coins, cause some of these coins hold an incredible history, and some are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest varieties and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're talking about the 1972 Washington quarter dollar, a coin you've probably seen dozens, maybe even hundreds of times in your life. But what if I told you that one specific version of this common-looking coin could be worth a fortune today? That's right, what looks like ordinary change could actually be a hidden gem, and we're going to uncover every reason why. Sit back, listen carefully, and let's unlock the fascinating story behind this classic American coin. And what makes it so incredibly valuable to collectors around the world. Let's begin with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. The design became so iconic, it stayed largely unchanged for decades. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll see a detailed portrait of Washington facing left, with the word Liberty above and In God We Trust to the side. Below his neck lies the date, 1972. Flip it over, and on the reverse, you're met with the classic image of the American bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches. The inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and quarter dollar complete the design, a beautiful balance of strength, peace, and patriotic pride. Now, 1972 wasn't a year of any major redesign for the Washington quarter, and millions of them were minted. That's what makes this story even more exciting, because hidden among those millions are a few coins that came out not quite right. And it's those mistakes, those rare minting errors, that turn this everyday coin into something worth thousands. Let's explore the different kinds of errors that make the 1972 Washington quarter incredibly rare, and in some cases, extremely expensive. First, let's talk about the double die error. This is one of the most sought-after mistakes in all of coin collecting. A double die happens when the coin die imprints the design more than once but slightly off. The result? You see a shadow or doubling effect on the letters or numbers, like Liberty, the date 1972, or In God We Trust. If you notice this kind of doubling, especially on a coin in great condition, it could be worth a lot more than 25 cents. Next, keep an eye out for the off-center strike. This error occurs when the blank planchet isn't properly aligned during the strike. Depending on how off-center the strike is, the value of the coin can go up dramatically. Coins that are off by 10% to 50% and still show the date and other key details are in high demand. Another highly valuable error is the clad layer missing error. Quarters minted after 1965 are made from a copper core with an outer layer of nickel. But sometimes, the outer layer fails to bond to the core, leaving a coin that appears coppery, dull, or even uneven in texture. It's visually striking and instantly stands out to any collector. There are also wrong planchet errors, where the quarter was mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a nickel or a foreign coin. These quarters are often smaller, lighter, or have unusual edges. That's exactly the kind of oddity that makes a coin incredibly rare and very, very valuable. Let's not forget about strike-through errors, where debris or grease gets between the die and the planchet, leaving strange marks or missing details on the coin. These can be very unique, and uniqueness is the name of the game when it comes to value in numismatics. Of course, beyond all of these rare errors, there's the condition of the coin itself. A heavily worn quarter might not attract much attention, but a mint state or uncirculated coin, one that's been preserved beautifully, showing no signs of wear, can dramatically increase its value. Especially if it also has one of the rare errors we just talked about. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. If you happen to have a 1972 Washington quarter with one of these rare minting errors, like a strong double die, a severe off-center strike, or a clear clad layer issue, and it's in exceptional condition, that coin could be worth as much as $79,000. Yes, you heard that right. $79,000. From a single coin that someone might have dropped into a vending machine without a second thought. That's the wonder of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the history in your hands, and the stories behind every detail. Every coin has a journey, and sometimes that journey turns into a jackpot. Before you spend your next quarter, take a moment. Look at the year. Study the design. Examine the edges. That old 1972 Washington quarter might not be so ordinary after all. Top 2 were spotlighting a coin that might seem completely ordinary on the surface but could be hiding an extraordinary secret. I'm talking about the 1979 United States Washington quarter dollar. Yes, that plain old 25-cent piece you've probably seen thousands of times in your life. But what if I told you that one of these could be worth an absolutely jaw-dropping amount? So buckle up and listen closely, because we're diving into the fascinating details of the 1979 quarter. How a simple minting mistake could make yours worth a fortune, and why collectors are on the lookout for this very coin. Let's begin with a little context. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, originally created to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design became so iconic that it remained in use for decades. The obverse features a profile of President George Washington, with the words "Liberty" above, "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date, 1979, at the bottom. On the reverse, you'll see a powerful American bald eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows and framed by olive branches. Patriotism in pure coin form. By 1979, the quarter had already been through some changes, most notably the transition from 90% silver coins to copper-nickel-clad coins, which had started back in 1965. So the 1979 quarter is part of this newer generation. But what makes it truly special are the rare minting errors and variations that were never meant to leave the U.S. Mint. Let's talk about these fascinating mistakes that could turn a regular coin into a rare collector's dream. One of the most important errors to look out for is the double die error. This occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet more than once in slightly misaligned positions. This creates a doubling effect, especially visible on the lettering. Look closely at the word "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date, 1979. These doubled features can be subtle or dramatic, but either way, collectors go wild for them. Next, there's the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly centered during the minting process, resulting in a coin that has its design shifted to one side. The more off-center it is, the rarer and more valuable it becomes, especially if you can still see the full date and mint mark. Then there's the clad layer missing error. Since post-1965 quarters are made of a copper core and an outer layer of nickel, sometimes one of those layers is completely missing. The coin will appear dull, have a different color, or feel lighter in the hand. It's visually striking, easy to spot, and extremely desirable among collectors. Another major error is the wrong planchet strike. This is when the quarter design was accidentally struck onto a blank intended for another denomination. A 1979 quarter struck on a nickel or foreign planchet will have a different weight, color, or even size. These types of errors are rare and fetch huge prices at auctions. There are also strike-through errors, where foreign materials like grease, cloth, or metal shavings interfere during the minting process, leaving parts of the design missing or distorted. While not as common, these are one-of-a-kind coins that add serious excitement to a collection. Now, beyond the errors, let's talk about condition. If your 1979 quarter has a rare mint error, but also shows signs of heavy wear, its value may be reduced. But if it's in mint state, meaning it has never been in circulation, has sharp details, and still holds its original shine, then the value can skyrocket. Collectors are constantly searching for that perfect storm, a rare error in pristine condition. But here's the part you've all been waiting for. The question that's probably been on your mind since you hit play. How much can a 1979 Washington quarter be worth if it has one of these rare minting errors and is in top-notch condition? Well, hold on to your hats. Because one of these rare 1979 quarters, featuring a significant error and preserved in exceptional quality, has been valued as high as $77,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $77,000. That's the kind of number that makes you want to dump out every drawer, every coin jar, and every old wallet in your house. That's what makes coin collecting so incredible. It's not just about history or design. It's about the hunt. The chance that one small detail could unlock a massive reward. The fact that something so valuable could be hiding in plain sight, right under your nose. So the next time you come across a 1979 quarter, don't just assume it's worth face value. Look closely. Check the lettering. Inspect the design. Examine the edges. Because you might be holding a hidden piece of minting history and a small treasure right in your hands. Top 3, we're taking a deep dive into the 1986 United States Washington quarter dollar. It's a coin you've likely handled hundreds of times in your life, But what you're about to learn might make you look at this familiar piece of metal in a whole new light. So stay tuned, because the secrets hidden inside this common coin could surprise you. Let's start by talking about the coin itself. The Washington quarter is one of the most recognizable coins in American currency. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, its design has become a staple of American pocket change. The 1986 quarter keeps that classic look. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of George Washington, facing left, with the inscriptions "Liberty" above and "God We Trust" to the side, and the date, 1986, below. Flip it over, and you'll see the majestic American bald eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and preparedness, while the olive branches beneath represent peace. It's a powerful and elegant design that has stood the test of time. Now here's where things get truly exciting, because while the 1986 quarter looks just like any other quarter in circulation, some rare versions of this coin are hiding incredible secrets. And these secrets are exactly what make certain 1,986 quarters worth thousands, yes, thousands, of dollars today. What makes a 1986 Washington quarter rare or valuable? It all comes down to minting errors, the unexpected mistakes that occurred at the U.S. Mint during production. These errors are unintentional, often overlooked by quality control, and they make each affected coin one of a kind. Let's go through some of the rarest and most valuable mint errors you should be hunting for on your 1986 quarter. First up is the double die error. This happens when the die that stamps the design onto the coin strikes the same spot more than once, slightly off each time. It results in doubling of the letters or numbers, most commonly visible in "Liberty" and "God We Trust" in the year 1986. Sometimes the doubling is so clear you can see it without a magnifying glass. These coins are highly sought after by collectors and can command serious money. Next, you'll want to keep your eyes peeled for an off-center strike. That's when the blank coin isn't lined up properly in the press, and the design ends up shifted to one side. The more off-center the coin is, while still showing the full date, the more valuable it becomes. These are dramatic-looking errors that instantly grab the attention of collectors. Another error that can send a coin's value soaring is the clad layer missing error. Since quarters are made of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, if one of those outer layers fails to bond correctly, it leaves the coin with a strange color or texture. You might see a coppery appearance on one side or an uneven, dull surface. This is a rare but exciting error, and very noticeable once you know what to look for. Then there's the wrong planchet strike. That means a 1986 quarter was accidentally struck on a blank intended for another coin, like a dime or even a foreign coin. These planchet errors result in a quarter that is too light, too small, or just off. If you notice that your quarter doesn't quite match the usual look or feel, it's worth taking a closer look. Strike-through errors are another type worth watching. These happen when something like grease, wire, or even a piece of cloth gets between the die and the blank coin during minting. It leaves strange, often fascinating marks or textures that make the coin unique. Of course, even without errors, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining value. A rare error in mint state or uncirculated condition is worth many times more than the same error on a worn-out coin. If your 1986 quarter still has its original shine, sharp details, and no scratches or wear, it could be a top-grade find that collectors will jump at. So, how much can one of these rare 1986 Washington quarters actually be worth? Well, if you find one with a major minting error, like a bold double die or a clean off-center strike, and it's in pristine condition, that humble quarter could be worth up to $75,000. Yes, you heard me right. $75,000. From a single quarter. A coin you might have spent at the gas station or dropped in a tip jar without a second thought. That's why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. Every coin has a story, and every once in a while, that story comes with a massive payoff. So before you spend that next quarter, pause. Look at the year. Examine the details. Flip it under a light. Because you never know, you could be holding a rare piece of American minting history. Top 4 were shining the spotlight on a coin that might seem ordinary to most, but for collectors, it could be pure gold, or more accurately, worth tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking about the 1988 United States Washington quarter dollar. Now, you probably recognize the Washington quarter. It's been a staple of American currency since 1932. Featuring the profile of the first president of the United States, George Washington, this coin carries a powerful legacy in every mint strike. But the 1988 issue holds some secrets that only the most observant collectors know about, and those secrets could make a huge difference in the value of your coin. Let's first talk about the design and what makes this quarter so recognizable. On the front, or obverse side, you have the classic depiction of George Washington facing left. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "God We Trust" and the date 1988 surround the portrait. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the American bald eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace. This design has been beloved by collectors and everyday users alike for decades. But here's where things get really interesting. While millions of these quarters were produced and circulated, some 1988 Washington quarters are far from ordinary. What sets them apart? Minting errors and rare varieties. These errors happened during the manufacturing process and made some coins one of a kind. And when it comes to rare errors, collectors pay serious money. One of the most exciting types of error is called the double die. This occurs when the coin die stamps the coin twice, but slightly misaligned. The result? You might see doubled letters or numbers, especially in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," or in the date 1988. On some coins, this doubling is subtle, but on others, it's bold and unmistakable. Double die quarters are like the unicorns of the coin world, extremely rare and highly sought after. Another fascinating error to look for is the off-center strike. Imagine the coin blank wasn't perfectly aligned during striking, causing the design to be shifted dramatically to one side. The more off-center, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some off-center quarters reveal a fascinating glimpse into the minting process gone awry, and collectors love the uniqueness of these mistakes. Then, there's the clad layer missing error. The Washington quarters since 1965 are made from a sandwich of copper and nickel layers. Sometimes, a layer fails to bond correctly, and the coin might show copper where it should be silver-colored nickel. This makes for a visually striking coin and adds a layer of rarity that collectors crave. Also, watch out for strike-through errors. These occur when debris like grease, fabric, or metal shards get caught between the die and the coin blank, resulting in unusual marks or missing parts of the design. Each strike-through coin has its own personality and story, making it a unique piece for any collection. The condition of the coin is also incredibly important. Even a rare error coin loses value if it's heavily worn or damaged. Coins in mint state, which means they haven't been circulated and retain their original luster, are the holy grail for collectors. If your 1988 quarter is a mint state error coin, it's like finding a rare diamond in a sea of stones. With all that said, what kind of value are we talking about here? How much can a rare, error-filled 1988 Washington quarter be worth in today's market? If you've got your hands on one of these mint state, rare error quarters, especially those with bold doubling, significant off-center strikes, or missing clad layers, you could be looking at a price tag of up to $73,000. Yes, $73,000. That's the incredible value a single quarter, almost 3.5 decades old, can reach when it carries the right error and is preserved in excellent condition. The next time you're sorting through your change or digging through an old coin jar, take a closer look at those 1988 quarters. You might just be holding a coin that could change your life forever. Top 5. We're zooming in on a coin you might have in your pocket right now, the 1994 United States Washington quarter dollar. Sounds like just another everyday quarter, right? Well, listen closely because this particular year holds secrets that can make it worth far more than its face value. The Washington quarter has been an American staple since 1932, paying tribute to our first president, George Washington. The classic design features his dignified profile on the front, while the back proudly displays the bold American eagle, symbolizing freedom and strength. The 1994 quarter might look common at first glance, but don't be fooled. Among the millions minted that year, there are some incredibly rare variations and errors that collectors crave. Let's dive into what makes the 1994 Washington quarter so special. You see, minting coins is a complex process involving precision, but sometimes, small errors slip through. These mistakes, though unintentional, transform ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles. One of the most eye-catching errors is the double die. This happens when the coin's design is struck more than once in slightly different positions. On a 1994 quarter, this doubling can show up in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," or even in the date itself. When visible to the naked eye, this doubling effect gives the coin a unique and striking appearance. Coins with this kind of error are super rare and in high demand by collectors. Another fascinating rarity is the off-center strike. Imagine the coin being struck when the blank planchet was not perfectly centered in the minting press. The result? Part of the design is missing or shifted, creating a striking and unusual look. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some off-center quarters even show a partial rim on one side and a blank space on the other, making them instantly collectible. There are also the missing clad layer errors to watch for. Since quarters are composed of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, sometimes the nickel layer doesn't properly bond during minting. This exposes the copper core, giving the coin an unusual reddish tint that stands out among regular quarters. This error is prized for its distinct appearance and rarity. Don't forget about the strike-through errors. Sometimes, debris like grease, fabric, or metal fragments get caught in the press, resulting in strange marks or deformities on the coin's surface. Every strike-through coin tells a unique story, and collectors love these imperfections because they make each coin truly one of a kind. Condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. Even the rarest error coin won't fetch top dollar if it's worn or damaged. Mint state coins, those with no wear and brilliant original luster, are the crown jewels for collectors. So, if you come across a 1994 quarter with one of these rare errors in mint condition, you're holding something very special. So, what's the bottom line? How much could one of these rare 1994 Washington quarters be worth? If you're lucky enough to own one of these unique mint era quarters, especially in pristine condition, it could be valued at an astounding $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000 for a single quarter minted in 1994. So the next time you dig into your coin jar, look carefully at those 1,994 quarters. You might just be holding a rare treasure that could change your life. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you loved learning about this incredible coin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Until next time, keep collecting and happy hunting.